Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Patch of the Week. This week's Patch of the Week is the Pulse Patch. Again, another simple one, but these simple patches are what make our projects, so we gotta learn them. So what exactly do we use the Pulse Patch with? The Pulse Patch is an infinitely useful patch, really. The pulse signal runs through all of our projects. You might not realize it, but it is used by many different patches. So the Pulse Patch itself is the Pulse Patch itself is a really small patch, and it's often used with the Boolean patch. So we did the Boolean last week, we're doing the Pulse this week, but you'll see how they work together. Okay, so let's take a look at the inputs and outputs for the Pulse Patch and get onto those, and then we can get straight into our project and we can have a look at that. Again, another super simple patch. The Pulse only has one input and two outputs. Really easy. So the Pulse Patch takes a Boolean input, so that's like an on-off switch. We covered the switch in the previous video, so if you haven't already watched that, please jump back onto the last video after this one and you can get a much more full understanding of what we're talking about here. As for outputs, the top output there is a pulse output and the bottom output is also a pulse output. So when our Boolean signal is on, the top pulse fires because that's the on pulse, and then when our Boolean signal is switched off, our bottom output fires, which is our off pulse. So super simple. We can use this in loads of different ways, and we'll get into that in our example project, which is coming up now. Okay, and welcome to the example project for our patch of the week. This week it's the Pulse Patch, and as you can see here, this is our patch of the week. So as you'll notice if you've seen last week's video, this project is very similar, but we've set it up slightly differently, where our patch, which is the Pulse Patch, is going to cycle through colours in this light bulb here every time we open our mouth. So what this is going to do is, we've got the face finder. Select the face, index 0, so that's my face, nobody else here. Then we get this patch, which gives us all of the face information which we need to make this patch work. And from that, we're going to take the mouth open, although you can go and choose an interaction of your choice when you play around with this file. And what this does here is it has a Boolean signal for whether or not my mouth is open. So if you see, if I open my mouth now, that tick there indicates that my mouth is open, and obviously it's disappeared again, now it's closed. So what this does, this Boolean, you can attach a pulse signal to it, and every time I open my mouth and the Boolean turns on, we can get it to increase the counter. And what this is doing here is, it's a counter, it counts up to 3, and we send that value to these option pickers, and these are the different colors of it and these are the different color textures which we then apply to our light bulb. So I'm just going to open my mouth 3 times so you can see it cycle all the way through. So I go, I need a better sound for that. And what that's doing is just cycling through different materials that we're applying to the background glow, the light bulb itself, and the filament on the inside of the light bulb. So we've got yellow, blue, pink. Now the pulse itself is a really simple patch. We can do things like, it's pretty much always paired with a Boolean patch, so we can do things like say 5 seconds or 3 seconds into the start of our filter. So we'll get the runtime. This runtime here tells us how long our filter's been running, so we'll get this, and this gives us a number here, that's how many seconds. So if we say greater than 2 seconds, this will give us a Boolean signal, and we can attach this to our pulse, and then if we reset our effect, ding, there we go. So after 2 seconds, it fired a pulse, and that increased our value here, which put it onto option 1, which is the blue here, and that's why our light bulb turned blue. So the Pulse Patch is a really simple patch, but it's one of the main ways we fire signals through our effects. It really helps us add layers of interaction to our effects. You can use it to fire sounds, you can use it to fire the next part of your filter if you have like a sequential filter. So say you've got one scene and that's finishing and you want to start the next one, you'll often do that by having an end state, and that will fire a pulse which will start the next phase of your effect. So really integral signal within the Spark AR patch graph. I encourage you to play around with this. There's lots of different things that fire pulses. So previously we've looked at the animation patch. This here, so every time this loops it fires a pulse, and this is the same kind of pulse that this one fires here. So if we attach this one here, you'll see it fires every second, but if we change it to 0.1, you can fire pulses really quickly, like faster than we humans understand. So you can use it to do many different things. Within games you would use a pulse to tick up on a scoreboard. So say somebody got a coin and you wanted to give them 10 points, you would fire a pulse and that would tick up the score 10 points. It's really, you'll use this one a lot, so it's really worth playing around with different pulses and seeing what else we can use them for. But yeah, this whole file will be free for download in the link below. I just want to say thank you again for watching these. They are fun to make and I really hope you're enjoying them. Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that would really help me, help the channel. If you've got any questions about pulses, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. But in the meantime, thank you very much and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.